Homer might need a hamster to keep his brain running, but his built-in psycho mode is already on overdrive. These are all the times Homer has been a total psycho. Number 1. Homer's Enemy. The Simpsons episode Homer's Enemy is infamous for its bleak portrayal of Homer as something far worse than a lovable buffoon. This episode flips the usual comedic charm of Springfield into a grim satire, introducing Frank Grimes, a hard-working nuclear physicist whose life has been defined by struggle and hardship. When Grimes begins working at the Springfield nuclear power plant, he quickly grows to despise Homer for his laziness, incompetence, and unearned success. Grimes' frustration is not just understandable, it's painfully relatable. Homer in this episode is no longer just a goofy dad. He became a representation of the unfairness of life. His carelessness and ignorance actively makes Grimes' life harder, to the point that Grimes suffers a complete mental breakdown. In a dark twist, Grimes attempts to imitate Homer's reckless behavior and results in his accidental death.
Hi, grimy old buddy.
I'm not your buddy, Simpson. I don't like you. In fact, I hate you. Stay the hell away from me, because from now on, we're enemies.
The episode ends with an unsettling funeral scene where Homer's antics overshadow Grimes' tragic demise, highlighting the show's unflinching cynicism. This dark commentary frames Homer as almost psychopathic and his obliviousness to others' suffering, pushing the character into a morally gray area. Many fans view this as Homer's worst moment, as it forces viewers to grapple with the harsh reality of his psychotic behavior, in a way the series rarely does. Number 2. Cape Fear. While Cape Fear primarily showcases Sideshow Bob's unhinged obsession with killing Bart, Homer's behavior throughout the episode pushes the boundaries of absurdity.
Hello, Bart.
Mom! Dad!
Your family can't help you now.
Oh no! Dad's been drugged!
No, he hasn't.
Blurring the line between obliviousness and psychopathy. His recklessness repeatedly puts his family in danger, often for no other reason than his own comedic negligence. Take for example the family's relocation to Terror Lake under witness protection. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Homer hilariously sabotages their safety by loudly announcing their new surname at every opportunity. His behavior escalates to outright terrifying when he bursts into Bart's room in the dead of the night, first wielding a knife to offer brownies, and later donning a hockey mask while revving a chainsaw just to show it off. Each incident leaves Bart more paranoid, highlighting Homer's total lack of awareness or concern for how his actions affect others. In true Homer fashion, his negligence inadvertently helps foil Bob's plan. As Bob clings to their car during the move, Homer's erratic behavior leads Bob through a gauntlet of cacti, speed bumps, and spilled coffee. But it's Homer's bone-deep cluelessness that cements his psychopathic edge. Whether putting his family at risk or mocking their fear, this episode captures Homer at his most unhinged, and arguably his most dangerous. Number 3. Treehouse of Horror 6. Homer's apathy takes a sinister turn in Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, where his negligence indirectly creates the vengeful dream demon groundskeeper Willie. It all begins with Homer casually ignoring a warning not to touch the thermostat during a PTA meeting. His meddling causes the school boiler to explode, engulfing Willie in flames while the parents, including Homer, stand idly by.
Oh, lousy smarch weather. Do not touch Willie. Good advice.
This lack of remorse highlights Homer's darker tendencies. His actions directly result in Willie's transformation into a malevolent entity, seeking revenge on Springfield's children. Even after children begin dying mysteriously, Homer's indifference persists. It's Bart and Lisa who uncover the truth about Willie, while Homer remains uninvolved and oblivious to the danger his family faces. When the kids try to stay awake to avoid Willie's wrath in their dreams, Homer's absence as a protector underscores his callousness. The episode blends horror with humor, but Homer's role as the catalyst for Willie's vengeance stands out. His careless behavior not only causes unimaginable terror for Springfield's children, but also exemplifies his psychopathic disregard for the consequences of his actions. While the story resolves with Maggie unexpectedly saving the day, Homer's apathy leaves an unsettling impression about his character's moral void. Number 4. King-Size Homer. In King Size Homer, Homer's manipulation of a disability program to avoid work exposes a disturbingly self-centered and psychopathic streak. What begins as simple laziness quickly morphs into a dark obsession, as Homer deliberately sabotages his own health to achieve hyperobesity. Ignoring Lisa's heartfelt warnings about the dangers to his health and the abuse of a system meant to help genuinely disabled people, Homer relentlessly pursues his goals with reckless abandon. This complete disregard for the consequences of his actions highlights his pathological selfishness. Homer's gluttonous eating spree, culminating in consuming a Play-Doh donut Maggie made, is both absurd and unsettling. His joy at reaching 315 pounds, even at the expense of his dignity and family's well-being, underscores his lack of empathy. Even after achieving his goal of working from home, Homer's negligence continues to escalate. He leaves a drinking bird to handle his work while he indulges in leisure, oblivious to the looming disaster at the nuclear plant. When the situation spirals into a near catastrophe, Homer's eventual role in saving the day is purely accidental. His massive size blocks a toxic gas leak. This episode brilliantly combines humor with a chilling portrayal of Homer's extreme indifference to others, reinforcing the idea that his antics often veer into the psychopathic.
Stupid switch! I wish I had my reaching broom! Wait a minute. It's probably a...
Number 5. 2,001 Greyhounds. In 2,001 Greyhounds, Homer's attitude towards Santa's little helpers' puppies showcases an unsettling apathy bordering on psychopathy. Rather than showing even the slightest concern for the well-being of the 25 newborn Greyhound puppies, Homer openly jokes about selling them or worse, eating them. His cavalier attitude contrasts sharply with Marge and the kids' efforts to protect the dogs, emphasizing his cold disregard for innocent animals. As the puppies wreak havoc in the household, Homer's annoyance grows, and he appears more eager to offload the dogs than address their needs. When the family finally decides to find them new homes, Homer shows no interest in ensuring their safety or happiness. His lack of empathy continues when Mr. Burns steals the puppies to turn them into a fur tuxedo.
5 puppies.
And I know the little fellas would love romping around my many acres, chasing my many cars, drinking from my many toilets.
Who wouldn't?
Mom, don't give the puppies to him. He'll be mean to them. She's right, Homer. There's something about his face I don't trust.
I'm sorry, Mr. Burns, but you can't have these dogs.
While Bart and Lisa risk everything to save the dogs, Homer is notably absent, detached from the chaos surrounding him. Homer's indifference underscores a darker side of his character, his willingness to sacrifice the puppies for convenience or personal gain. This episode not only highlights his apathy, but also raises the question: how far would Homer go if left unchecked? His nonchalant nature adds an unsettling layer to his already flawed persona. Number 6. The Shining. In the Simpsons parody of The Shining, Homer's psychotic tendencies take center stage as he spirals into a violent lunatic when deprived of beer and television. The family's caretaking gig at Mr. Burns' eerie estate quickly becomes a nightmare as Homer fully embraces the role of a deranged would-be murderer. After Mr. Burns cuts the power and confiscates the beer, Homer's mental state deteriorates rapidly. Ghostly bartender Moe eggs him on, promising a beer in exchange for murdering his family. Homer initially hesitates but is soon swayed, plunging into madness.
Wow, that's a relief. Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
The typewriter scene where Marge discovers Homer has obsessively written "No TV and no beer make Homer go crazy" is both chilling and hilarious. Homer's sudden appearance, axe in hand, kicks off a chaotic rampage through the house. Despite his violent intent, Homer's absurdity keeps his psychopathy oddly comedic. From scaring himself in a mirror to botching his iconic "Here's Johnny" moment by bursting into the wrong rooms, his antics are as ridiculous as they are terrifying. In the end, Homer's bloodlust is quelled not by reason or love for his family, but by the discovery of a TV in the snow, the return of television's warming glow. Restoring his sanity, though only until the Tony Awards air. Number 7. Treehouse of Horror 5, Time and Punishment. In Time and Punishment, Homer's reckless use of time travel reveals a chilling disregard for the consequences of his actions.
There, better than new. Now to take her for a test toast. Huh? What the?
Despite being explicitly warned that minor changes in the past can catastrophically alter the future, Homer consistently makes impulsive, selfish decisions that wreak havoc on the timeline. His casual annihilation of species and indifferent reactions to the destruction he causes suggest a disturbing lack of empathy. When Homer first kills a mosquito, he returns to a dystopia where Flanders is a tyrant. Instead of learning from his mistake, Homer doubles down, inadvertently wiping out the dinosaurs by sneezing, then going on a destructive rampage in the past. Armed with a club, he gleefully smashes anything in sight, seemingly more interested in venting frustration than restoring order. His actions lead to increasingly bizarre and unstable timelines, including worlds where his children are giants trying to crush him, or where donuts don't exist. A revelation he finds more unbearable than the deaths of his sisters-in-law. Even when offered help by groundskeeper Willie, Homer shows no concern as Willie is axed by Maggie in a horrifying twist. Ultimately, Homer settles for a reality where his family eats snake tongue breakfasts, demonstrating his psychopathy through a mix of apathy and selfish resignation.